Did I get it, Mr. Shoulders?
Yeah,
That
you
was
got
on
it.
there. Hey everyone.
I got it.
All right, anybody want to lead me through step process?
Okay,
And just
wait, can I write it?
yes. Oh, fun.
Okay.
I just wiped those down just in case you want to know too.
Everything's
So
clean.
you multiply, right?
Yep.
Let me grab my sheet. So then you get, oh, this is so cool. Okay. So because you multiply and then you got that.
Oh, but you
Yeah,
put it
I
on the. I know, but you put right on the back. Yeah.
Oh.
The negative 22
Yeah.
you use to find your two numbers.
Yeah. And then you do this times this equals negative 22.
Okay, but you can't put the 22 on your, like, you can't put it right here. It's not your third term.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it.
I think that's what I was saying too. But you can use your negative 22.
Okay,
Yes,
so it
you-
equals negative, that gives you negative 22. Well, then you do it answer times answer equals 22, and then you do answer plus answer, 21. And then, by that, 22, do 1.
I'm just curious for you guys to check. Did anybody write it as -1 first and 22 second? Like flipped them? No. Okay. So I want to prove that one.
So you rewrite your equation with your, yeah, you just rewrite the equation.
Yeah, 22x.
Yeah.
And -1. And now you're -11.
Yeah, okay,
Alright.
and then you put these down at the ends because 2x squared, you put it into parentheses. And then you see what like this distribute, like,
You're factoring.
you factor.
You're taking out a common factor, sort of like when you simplify a fraction and you divide by a common factor.
And then you take these two, and you make them its own little thing, and you put these two, so then it gives you,
You can go slow down. Go down. There you go.
and then it gives you 2x minus 1. Minus x.
Did you hear that? Wasn't that fun as a teacher? Here, I just went, I get it now. You did that. That was
Yeah,
all
nice.
you.
Woo! Alright, that's good.
And we're
Yeah.
up. But I have a really good step process. So if you like when Mr. Yoder and I give you like step 1, step 2, step 3, you should get this. Alright, so this is lesson 6 of chapter 10, and it is similar to what we did yesterday in 10.5. Remember what I said yesterday about 10.5, and I tried to get it in your brain like over and over again about factoring something that looked like this. Yesterday we used a method, and it only could be used when? No. Yeah. To factor that, maybe just go through how to factor that. How about that?
You find what numbers multiply by each other equals 8.
Yeah.
And you find what numbers added to each other equals 6.
Right? And the numbers are?
Negative 1.
Yeah, do you know what the numbers actually are?
Oh,
2 and 4.
Yeah.
And positive, right?
Yeah.
But this method only worked when?
The x squared doesn't have a number.
Oh, okay, so when there's a 1 right there, right? So today I'm going to show you the method when there's a number in the front. And I'm going to skip, sorry I probably wasted paper, but I'm going to skip to the part where it says pay attention here. And give you a step process. So yesterday, it was two numbers that multiplied together to give you that last term, and they added together to give you a middle. But now there's a number that's not one sitting out in front here. You need to take the number that's the leading coefficient, or the number that's in the front, and multiply it by the number in the back. So 2 times 6 is 12. It's right here. If you're looking at the steps, instead of writing it separately, step 1 says find the product of the first and last term. Okay, so you got 12. Now the process is super similar to yesterday. So now that you have that number 12, so just don't forget to multiply those. When you have the number 12, find two numbers that multiply together to give you 12. So if you like that part yesterday where I went blank times blank equals 12, the sum of your two numbers, when you add them, is still going to be the middle. So those same two numbers are going to add together to be 7. And this is a step process, so if I scroll down, what are your two numbers? Can you come up with the two numbers that multiply together to make 12 and add to 7? 4 and 3. In either order, it doesn't matter, right? Here's a different part though, right here. This is new, so two new things so far. Multiply the front and back, first term, last term, right? And then how you set this up. You don't really need the parentheses, I'll show you a different way to write that. But your first term is going to be exactly the same as the first term in the original trinomial. Okay, so we had 2y squared plus 7y plus 6. This was our original problem, right? Okay, so this you're going to rewrite. The two numbers that you just came up with, the 4 and the 3, are going to become your middle two terms. They are going to have a y, or x in some cases, attached to them. So I'm going to write plus 4y plus 3y, and then this last term stays the same as it was in the problem. Here's what I'm saying. This and this come from here and here. We're going to practice it a little more. It seems like a lot of steps, but I think once you get going, it's not a big deal. So the two numbers you came up with go in the middle. All right, step 4. Separate the first two terms in your new, this right here. It's not an equation, it should just say that it's an expression. But from the last two terms, separate these two with a parenthesis. So it looks like that. Okay, so the only thing I did was add 2 pairs of parentheses. Who feels comfortable with the distributive property? This is the opposite of that. You're going to factor things out. You're finding the greatest common factor of two terms. Think about the numbers. Yeah, some people are already showing me. So if you look at the number 2 and 4, what can you divide them both by? 2. So I'm going to say you're taking a 2 out. Okay, so I'm going to take a 2 and put it outside the parentheses. Do you notice they also have at least one y in common? So you can remove, or divide really is what you're doing, a y. So look at the common factors numerically that they have that you can take out, and then look at the variable letters also. So I have to put something right here. 2y times this missing part is going to make 2y squared. So what do you think goes here if I multiply 2y times what to get this? If I multiply it by 2y, I'll get 4y squared. So just y. Okay, that makes 2y squared if you multiply it, right? Positive. 2y times what's going to make 4y? 2. The most fascinating part of this is that when I factor this binomial, when I take something out of this, what's left over has to match this. So I automatically just write it in. I don't even think before writing it. These will always match. match, be the same. So what am I dividing this red binomial by to be left with that? What would I divide this by to get y? What would I divide that by to get 2? Took a 3 out, a positive 3. The positives and negatives will matter. We'll do more examples. This one just happens to be everything positive. To the following, ta-da. Okay. The two parts that look like they don't belong together, this is something we factored out. This is something we factored out. They go together. 2y plus 3. The part that remained, that matched, you're only going to write it once. And that is your answer, and it felt really long. What? That's your answer. So when I was a student, I never had a process. It was a guess and check method at all times, and Mr. Yoder's shaking his head too. So when I found out there was a process I could use and it would work every time, I was like, no one told me this. It was hard for me to figure out at the time. So let's practice some. I think there's more, right? Yep, it's smart. Does yours say 3x squared plus 5x plus 2?
Yes.
Okay, I think there's one in here that's different than what's on my board, so. I'm gonna have you practice with, what you think we should do first based on that step process to see if my steps make any sense to you. Alright, so we'll think they know like what to do first, Claire? 3 times 2. Alright, so we're going 3 times 2 equals 6. Therefore you need two numbers that multiply together to make 6 and they add together to make 5. So 2 and 3. 2 times 3, 2 plus 3. Okay, there's your numbers. You remember what to do on this part, because you actually are going to get 4 terms when you write this step. There? Into the middle, nice. Alright, so this just gets brought down. You rewrite that. Matter of fact, you can go all the way to the end and just say you're going to rewrite that. And the 2 and the 3 go in the middle with an X on them. And everything's positive over there as well. Again, if one of your numbers was negative, you'd write minus. And this was positive or plus 2, so. Cool. Fancy stuff. And then, first 2, back 2. And you're dividing by common factors. Factoring 3. So a 3, you can divide them both by 3 and this by 2, yes? And x, so don't forget the letters. And you can only take out like the smallest exponent. Okay, so I'm gonna say 3x. 3x times this missing number. 3x times what gives you 3x? 1. Gabby said she wanted to take a 2 out of here. I told you that this has to match. Will it match if you divide by 2? Yeah. So cool. Yeah. How do I write my answer? My answer is my factored form. It's not really a solution. Now I always get, well, I'll let you finish writing that. I get asked this question. The 2 and the 3, what if I would have written it as the 2x here and the 3x there? I promise you it'll come out the same. These will be reversed usually, but you get the same 2 parts. It's pretty cool. That's it. But it's kind of a long process. Alright, is this example different than the one on your paper?
Yes.
Alright, change it to mine because I don't think yours works. Those of you that can, I don't think yours has a solution, right, to this. When I say solution, I'm saying that wrong, because we are just writing it in factored form. This is expanded form, we're changing it to